So good morning, everyone. So my name is Eric Fayen. I am the technical director of UIR, and I'm pleased to guide you through this webinar that will focus on the intermodal wagons and loading units. We are expecting more than 150 people in this webinar, and we have here a mix of manufacturers and leasing companies of wagons and intermodal units that will do some presentation. Let's wait. Okay, I see that our speaker. So there's one additional people I think to accept. So, okay, I'm not sharing my screen when I see that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's start. So I think all the speakers are there. So I will ask them the speakers to be ready. So the program today, I will do a short presentation or introduction on UII and the CT4U campaign. And we have asked different here member companies, partners from UIR to make a presentation. So we will have here the wagons with Tatra and CFL Multimodal, and all the others. So model group, Unit 45, wagon and Combi Pass will deal with the part of the loading units. UIR in short, so that's our so-called galaxy. We are the voice of intermodal freight transport in Europe since more than 55 years. We are representing the combined transport operators and also the freight terminals in Europe. We represent roughly 60% of cross-border freight traffic in Europe. We have recently published our annual report. Is available online. So you will notice, I think, that even in those difficult times, we have recorded a positive year of 1.5%. So that means that there are some positive developments. You can then find other figures. And one maybe interesting figures is about wagons. So we are compiling every year also the wagons that are under somehow the responsibility of UIR, and we have an increase of at least 10,000 wagons that have been added to the current wagon fleet of UIR. CT4U campaign, so just to remind that this event is organized in the context of the CT4U campaign. It's a campaign somehow to promote intermodal freight transport in general, to promote the efficiency of combined transport, and also then to improve the visibility of combined transport advantages about the policy and also the business decision makers. So what is our main approach is to have fact-based studies. So we have performed some studies, cross-sector collaboration and constraint engagement with the policymakers. And that's also why we are using, for example, this kind of tools or the webinars to promote the advantages of combined transport and also the innovation part of our sector. Our impact or expected impact of this campaign is to strengthening the sector's voice to ensure that combined transport is recognized as a key pillar of the European freight transport system. So why now today we are having a wagons and intermodal units webinar? The key is interoperability. So we have goods to be transported, so it can be palletized goods, it can be parcels, it can be chemical products. We have to put them in loading units. We call this intermodal units. So we have a variety, and you will see then also with our speakers how many variety of products exist on the market. So we have to accommodate the goods to the loading units or vice versa, and then we have to transfer these loading units onto the intermodal freight wagons. But we have this in an interoperability environment. So to be sure, I think that we have the compatibility between the loading units and the wagons, and also then to be sure, I think that this combination fits also to the rail network. This is why we, as UIR, and also here the speakers, are involved in standardization activities. So we have the ISO world for more the maritime sector. We have the European logistics then through the CEN, so the European Committee for Normalization in Europe. And then also for the railway part, we have our colleagues of UIC, which also then fix some standards and requirements for the rail specific then elements. Okay. Now I will go back, I think, to the program. I will then now invite the first speaker. So Mr. František Domanicki is sales manager at Tatra Wagonka, one of the largest manufacturers of wagons in Europe. So the floor is yours. Do you want that I share the screen, or you want to do it?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Good.
Yes, I hear you. Yeah, you will. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I can share the screen.
Okay.
For the presentation.
Okay.
We'll try.
It's coming. I see.
Yeah. So can you see?
Yes, it's okay. It's not on full screen, but we see it. Yep.
Okay. So it's trying full screen. So now it is in full screen. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Eric, for the introduction. So my name is František Domanicki, so I'm working in Tatra Wagonka as sales manager. I'm here since 2009. So I started in technical department, and since 2017 I'm working in sales. Okay, so I will try to briefly present you or introduce you our company, just the basic data informations. Then we'll tell you something about the actual situation from our side of let's say view from the side of manufacturer of the wagons, and then show you some innovations in intermodal, what we have done last year or years to increase the competitiveness toward the road transport. Okay, so let's go to the company presentation. So the basic indicators of the company. So we are, let's say, one of the biggest producer of the freight wagons and bogies in Europe. Actually, the share of the market is more than 30%. As you know, the situation last 2 years is not so good in general, not only for the intermodal, but also for the other segments. And let's say the yearly demand of the wagons before 2023, it was approximately or roughly 16 or 15,000 wagons. Last year it was around 10,000 wagons, and this year it will be roughly 8,000 or 9,000 wagons. So the demand has dropped significantly. But even though we have the share of the market more than, I can say, 50% actually. The production of or our production is mostly our development, so more than 90%. Then we are producing 4,500 wagons only in Slovakia. So I will show you our group in the next slide. Approximately 2,000 bogies, and yeah, so here is the group of our family. So we have two investors, Optikin Invest, which is Mr. Belyaev, and in 2018 entry of a new shareholder, Budamar Group. So the main company, mother company is Tatra Wagonka Poprad. We have two production facility in Slovakia, Trebišov and Tlmače, two other, and then we have in Tatra Wagonka Bratstvo in India. They are doing only own or local market. And there's Hungary in Austria. We had also a production facility in Croatia, but according to the actual situation, we closed, or it will be closed, let's say, this year. Then we have repairs and revisions, Tatra Vagonka Bratstvo in Serbia, TS Hungaria in Austria, and other manufacturers of components in our company. Just an overview of production capacities. So you can see also the drop from the year 2023 till now. You can see also that in year 2025, the production of the wagons are approximately by 5,000 wagons in our group. And it is also because of we are producing now more articulated wagons or short coupled wagons with running gear, not with bogies. So because of that, we also the production of the bogies is significantly lower, like the last year or year 2024. The overall production capacities, you can see here that in Slovakia we can build roughly 4,500 wagons plus 1,200 wagons, and in Serbia 750 wagons. Even that we, let's say, the production of the wagons comparing to the last year is not so high. The incomes are, let's say, bigger because of we are producing more difficult wagons. Just basic informations for regarding our R&D. So this is our big advantage that we have, let's say, strong research and development basis, and together with our technological department, we can really do, let's say, difficult developments or new developments of the wagons, and we try to, let's say, hold it. Yeah. So also our customers, they are going, let's say, to be first choice. Yeah, they are going to us as a first choice because they know that we have a strong R&D department. As mentioned before, so 90% of the production is our own development, and we are also a part of building different European Union railway strategy and the normatives. Regarding the innovation in general, not only in the intermodal, we are cooperating with different telematic or system suppliers. So standard for every wagon is the preparation for the digital automatic coupling. I can say that every wagon which leaves our company has some part of telematics. So from the basic ones to also more complicated telematics. But we can say that this is a standard nowadays, the digitalization of the wagons. But you have also different systems to increase the safety in operation, like monitoring of the brake system and so on. But we are still in this topic. For sure, we have all needed certification regarding the quality management and environment system. Okay, so it was just briefly the basic data regarding our company. I tried to list that some intermodal representatives, the wagons, from our point of view, which are, let's say, the best ones actually. This is the 4-axle 80-foot light 80. So we have these wagons in different versions, different variants, and the last years we produced a lot of these type of wagons for our customers, and really it is good for intermodal transport. You can transport there different type of containers, and the advantage of this wagon is the effectivity of the transportation. Then we have, let's say, the Lados wagon. It is not so, let's say, good representative for the intermodal in general, because you can't transport there, let's say, the containers and different swap bodies, but I will mention also lately the dual use and the support of transportation of military and defense staff. So this wagon can be used also, for example, for transportation of military and defense vehicles. And it's also increased, let's say, the competitiveness regarding the road transportation. Let's say our last or newest development is the short coupled 80-foot 8-axle wagon. This wagon is a modular concept for transportation of different special superstructures, swap bodies, or standard ISO containers. And we have different versions in length versions of the wagon for different track gauges. And the big advantage of this wagon, it is not good shown here, but in the reflection you can see in the middle that there is a large opening in the underframe, and this can be used for different superstructures with unloading in between the rails, or you can increase the loading volume with these special swap bodies or different superstructures. Nevertheless, we started also to, this is connected to this previous wagon, the TVP box carrier. We start to produce also different special containers, so we can develop according to the requirements of our customers special containers or swap bodies dedicated for different transportation of goods. For example, grain box, scrap box, transportation of soda, lime, and different other purposes. So this is, let's say, really good representative for the intermodal transport by means of modular concept. From our point of view, let's say the best representative for the intermodal transport is the basket wagon. Everybody knows the well-known T3000 pocket wagon. Yeah, so really, this is I can say the best seller and the best wagon for transportation of semi-trailers and different containers. And we decided to develop a version, let's say, of this wagon, version with integrated baskets. So the big advantage of this wagon that you have a integrated lifting device, I mean basket, which is approved, TSI approved together with the wagon. Yeah, so this wagon is mainly dedicated for transportation of non-craneable semi-trailers. Okay, so this was just briefly representatives for the intermodal. For sure, the main production of Tatra Wagonka is the production of freight wagons of different types and bogies. but we want to show you, let's say, the representatives for the intermodal transportation. Something to current situation. So we have the company Tata Wagon Car as the producer of the freight rolling stocks to actual situation. So just to summarize the last years, we thought honestly that the year 2025 will be the most complicated and challenging, but the year 2026 is more challenging, like the last year, and probably the next year 2027 will be the hardest one, because we see the actual demand not only in the intermodal sector but also in the other sectors, and the year 2027 will be really questionable, not only for us but also for the other producer of the freight wagons. The same is considered in terms of decreased demand, especially in the segment of intermodal transportation, which is supposed to be the most important in Europe. Currently, the segment of car transportation is dominating, which reflects the increased demand for car carrying wagons. At the moment, there are approximately, let's say, 20,000 car carrying wagons in Europe, of which 30% are on the threshold of their life cycle. The majority of car carriers are not designed for the heavy electric cars, and due to the fact that import of the electric cars is highly increased, their real usefulness is significantly lower. And we have expected that, let's say, in the horizon of the next 10 years, there will be a demand for approximately 10,000 new car carrying wagons. But this is also a question, because now we can see that we have built, let's say, in the Europe in the last year more than 4,000 wagons together with other competitors, and actually is also struggling. So this is still also questionable of the demand of car carrying wagons will follow, will be still there. But okay, there are also some other segments, wood transportation, chemical industry, which is really careful about the EU regulations. But we still believe that, let's say, the intermodal transportation, which is dominating segment, will start to gradually wake up. And our aim is to support increasing the competitiveness of intermodal transportation in comparison with unimodal road transportation. Therefore, we draw our attention in cooperation with the important players to development of new types of freight wagons, whose benefits is also the decreasing of the carbon footprint and especially increasing the competitiveness towards the road transportation. And also the actual situation, let's say, push us to support the wagons for dual use and military mobility. As I showed you before, we have drawn our attention in the Ledos wagon. It was the 6-axle 3-segment wagon for transportation of trucks, different vehicles, and also is let's say optimized for military defense vehicles. Then the TVP box carrier wagon with the large opening in the middle for transportation of different swap bodies, and plus we are starting also the production of these special containers. And the last one is the basket wagon, which is primarily dedicated for transportation of non-craneable semi-trailers. And the question is why the basket wagon?
Can I just to keep the timing of the webinar, if you can maybe close in 2-3 minutes. I think that can to be sure. I think that the other speakers. Okay, thanks. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Just quickly go to the information why the basket wagon is optimal for the intermodal transportation. The basic data that approximately 50% of all intermodal transports in Europe are composed of semi-trailers. That 95% of all European semi-trailers are non-craneable, and more than 85% of all European terminals dispose with vertical lifting technique. So we try, according to these informations, we try to optimize the actual pocket wagon, and we, let's say, make a version of the pocket wagon, which is the basket wagon with the integrated basket. And this should be, let's say, the optimal. But unfortunately, the actual situation in intermodal, let's say, just stopped the activities. But we are still trying to get this wagon in operation. Yeah, so here are just the basic informations of the wagon. We have two versions also for Spanish market, European market. So comparing to the T3000, the wagon has the same advantage of transport of different transportation like the pocket wagon, but the wagon has an integrated basket, which is also like a lifting device for the non-craneable semi-trailers. Here are some main technical parameters of the basket. And we also try to optimize this basket with our customers, that everything what you need for the loading of the semi-trailers is integrated in the wagon, like the tire security device, these hinged handles for loading of non-craneable semi-trailers, that you doesn't need any other special device or something else to load the wagons. Okay, so this was just briefly our, let's say, view of the company as Tatra Wagonka to the actual situation in the intermodal transport, but not only in the intermodal, but also in the other segments. Here are some links to the videos of the wagons. Thank you for the attention.
Thanks a lot, I think, František, I think for your presentation. I think you have been, I think, really responding to the question about interoperability, because you have shown, I think, with the different design of the wagons, you can accommodate or not the different types of loading units. I'm pleased also to hear there is a solution, I think, for this non-semi-trailer. Indeed, that's for UIR traffic, it's more than 50% for the moment. Semi-trailers, we're expecting a growth. Even last year, it was a growth, I think, of the semi-trailer segment. Basically, we are still transporting, of course, 70% of our transport is still on boxes, and meaning sware bodies and containers. So that's why I'm asking now the second speaker, I think, to intervene. So many thanks, I think, František, to join and to have then hear your intervention. So I will ask now Pierre, Nicolas from the model group, yes. I think, to have then a bit more, I think, and now insight into the world of logistics and loading unit. Yeah. So the floor is yours. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Perfect. Nicolas.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Eric, for sharing the audience. I'll try to make it a little bit quicker. And my name is Nicolas Chambaud. I'm the Group Managing Director of Modal Group. Eric, by the way, this is not the right logo you put on the first page, so please correct it.
Sorry, that's my mistake.
I encourage all the participants to follow us on LinkedIn to make it clear this way. So innovation at Modal Group is is something quite, it's really part of the DNA, but it's also something very difficult to manage, frankly speaking. And I cannot but encourage you to interrupt me and to share your experience. This is something we discuss at board level, at executive committee level. This is something that costs money, that is long, requires a lot of efforts, but still we cannot, we must do it. We are a small player. We're competing against giants backed by private equity funds or by very large investors. So the only way for us to differentiate ourselves is to innovate. And the UTI is clearly the common, I would say, common denominator of our activities. It's when I discuss my business with my friends and relatives, says, you know, we are trying to innovate with containers. So of course the audience starts laughing. How can you innovate with containers? But for us, it's I would say innovation does not start with technology. I would say innovation starts with the way we analyze our customers' operational constraints, and that's starting with this. We try to organize our activities around this. Saying differently, how the group model can help us to accelerate innovation. So there is this is the philosophy of Modal Group, and that derives as we try to build an ecosystem, an integrated commercial approach to serve our customers. And I'm very happy to have had Tatra Wagonka speaking at first, because 6-7 years ago we started questioning on the market some rail car manufacturers who is ready to help us to innovate. At that time, we wanted to put on the market intermodal wagons with lower deck and also a new design that help us to reduce the noise emissions. And the only one who accepted to follow us was Tatra Wagonka. So there's also, you need to seduce also wagons manufacturers to support you, and I think this is quite important, because if we wanted this to happen, and you mentioned this, Eric, in the introduction, if we want the flow to consolidate flows, if we want to achieve interoperability, we have to work all together to make the ecosystem to work. And this is the way we are now organized at Modal Group. We do not approach the UTI by itself. We approach UTI with the wagons with the terminals, and also with the tools. And that's why we try to say and explain our partners that we think this as an ecosystem. Maybe Pierre-Nicolas, you can go to next slide. We acquire UTI railroad semi-trailer and a swap body manufacturer in Italy named CCFC, which was really far from our core activities at first. But we learned quite a lot, being on the other side of the scene. Because we know how hard it is to bring innovation on the market. But clearly we cannot do it just by ourselves, looking at the equipment itself. We need to really analyze from the very beginning the flows, the operational constraints at clients, the sites, volumes, and to find a economic denominator. Because in the end, the question of who is financing innovation is, for me, is key. Sometimes the entire chain will benefit from this innovation, but there is only one who is paying at first. So we need to have the capability to invest. And what is the counterparty of this investment? For me, it's the duration of our contract. How long are our engagement with clients? That is something very key, and I'm very surprised to see on the markets now an habit which consists as the pay-as-you-go. For us, this is a nonsense. Pay-as-you-go is not, we do not pay as you go as on TV. We need to invest, and we need to have a little bit of visibility on our revenue. Having said so, I will ask my innovation manager, Pierre-Nicolas Chiles, to introduce you maybe 2 or 3 very specific innovation. We do love innovate and work with our client, but we had to choose. We had to pick up 3, and it always started from a vague discussion with our clients who raise their hand at a fair exhibition, saying, "Okay, this is the way I work. Can you help?" Thank you very much. I would be very pleased to have your questions after.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So in this part, I will focus on the intermodal loading unit fleet and the innovation projects that we are developing to support multimodal transport. This slide will give you an overview of the Modalis multimodal fleet and its diversity. We offer a wide range of equipment for every type of cargo. For example, for general cargo, we can provide some dry box container, curtain side swap body, reefer units. For dry bulk, we can offer either a pressurized silo container, either more classic solution like open top bulk boxes. For the liquid part, we have a range of tank container, including high capacity swap bodies to maximize the loading volume. For the gas, whether it is compressed, liquefied, or cryogenic, we can provide a solution. We also own some road chassis on wagons, as Nicolas said. So you can notice that our fleet is mainly based on swap bodies for us, and for the European logistic, it's very important because most of the time swap bodies are more optimized for combined operations. For example, you can improve loading and unloading efficiency. You can optimize the loaded quantity. So at Modalis, our objective is to push the limit of the existing equipment, and I will show you some example. So we can develop some projects for different operational needs. For example, the first one is called the butterfly container. It is a patented open-top bulk container, which was designed in order to improve both safety and operational efficiency. So compared to traditional solutions such as tarpaulin or hardtop, for example, the butterfly container is really faster and safer to use. You can open it and close it in only 20 seconds by a single operator, and it can be directly done from ground level. So you do not have some work at height or something else. It's also eco-designed. We use some recyclable composite panel, for example, to reduce its environmental footprint. The second one, the second project is named the potato container. So it is a tailor-made solution developed for a customer in the agri-food sector. As you can guess, it is for potatoes. So it is designed to protect product quality during the transport, with features such as anti-darkening internal lining, insulating thermal insulation. It is also optimized for loading, unloading, and transport operation. So it's very well integrating into the overall logistic chain of the customer. The last example will be the LNG cryogenic tanks. So this project will focus on transport efficiency and volume optimization. For example, what you can find commonly in the market, it is the classic ISO container with 46, 48 cubic meters. We can provide 52 cubic meters in one container. So we can have more product still in multimodal operation. So why making some innovation? There is several key motivation for us. So the first one will be the modal shift. By improving equipment performance, we believe that combined transport can become more attractive and competitive compared to road and to rail. So the goal is to shift freight from road to rail, helping reduce CO2 emission and ease congestion, for example. So it will be that will be especially the case of the LNG containers. One of the second driver is the safety. It will be the case of the butterfly container. The goal is to reduce operator exposure to risk, and as Nicolas said before, for example, to reduce to limit some noise or pollution during the exploitation for the brake and so and so. So each improvement delivers not only economic benefits, but also clear social and environmental value. And the third point is an important one, is about timing and competitiveness. Today, more and more industries are looking to reduce their carbon footprints and move toward greener logistic solution. However, this transition cannot happen without the right container, the right tools, the right environment. So the customer will need reliable equipment, efficient operation, and economically viable solution. Our role is to support this shift by providing the good product at the right time. And I will take some points that Nicolas already spoke. How do we make it? So first, it's really not easy to innovate. It's highly time consuming. We have to be on the field. We have to be on site to adjust, to modify the prototype, to build a new prototype. The second point is it can be really costly. We have to see the certification, to find some investments to help us to go on the project. Nicolas said that partnership is really essential. Today, we don't and we cannot innovate alone. So we work closely with some partners. We co-design, we co-invest in some solution. This will create a stronger commitment and ensure a long-term alignment between all the parties. And finally, for us, eco-design plays a growing role in our approach. Environmental performance is a key requirement, so we integrate it from the earliest stages of development. We choose some material selection. For example, we try to have a carbon footprint reduction. We are thinking of the end of life of the materials. So it's all a chain. So to conclude, for my part, Modalis innovation is driven by three core priorities. It will be the competitiveness, of course, the safety and the sustainability. It's not easy, but today we have to innovate. We have to invest to help everyone to move to the intermodal in the intermodal way. Thank you.
So thanks, Pierre, Nicolas, and Nicolas for your intervention. So I just retained that I have to change the logo. Nicolas, I'm really sorry for that. So I've changed it immediately. I've heard also that we have to seduce our wagon manufacturers. I like this kind of sentence. And indeed, I think your conclusion is quite right. We are speaking about resilience. We are speaking about competitiveness. And then we are speaking about reducing the external costs also in terms of design. That's also something very important. And maybe the last one is about certification. That's based, of course, on the standard that I mentioned in my introduction. So that's why also UI is quite active in designing the right standard, I think, for the sector. And I'm responsible one of the working group on intermodal loading units, and we are for the moment, for example, revising the standards regarding swap bodies. So again, many thanks for both of you for your intervention. Let's go then to the next speaker. So it's one of the first partner within UIR, is the company Unit 45. So I will now ask Maria, as a sales manager of the company, then to present, I think, the different products and services that she can also deliver for the intermodal sector. Yeah. Maria, yeah, we see your screen. Yeah. Yes, it's working. Yeah. But we don't hear you. You are muted for the moment, Maria.
Better now?
Now it's okay. Now I hear you. Yes,
Okay,
very well now,
sorry
Maria.
for that.
Good
Sorry
news,
for that.
good news. No problem.
So good morning, everyone. And Eric, thank you for the introduction and the invitation. My name is Maria Genain, responsible for sales within Europe for Unit 45 for more than 19 years now. And I'm thrilled to be here today and to tell you more about Unit 45, especially about the intermodal loading units we offer. As you can probably guess from the company name, we specialized in 45-foot containers. Now, before diving into our specific loading units, I would like to share a very brief introduction, some facts and figures about the company. Oh, doesn't work. Okay.
It's coming. It's a bit slow, but it's coming.
Okay. Who is Unit 45? We are a privately owned Dutch container leasing company based in Rotterdam with 11 employees, and we were founded in 2002. We are in the 45-foot containers. We are the market leader with about 65% market share for the moment. Our focus is 100% on 45-foot pallet-wide high-cube containers for multimodal use within Europe. And we are the intermodal innovator with focus on developing and tailor-made solutions for our customers. The business, what do? We manufacture all our containers in China at 3 different locations, both in the north and in the south. Recently, one of the factories opened a fully automated production line for 45-foot dry box containers. It's really impressive to see. The production hall is measuring 1 kilometer long and 300 meter wide. And because the line is fully automated and the welding is done entirely by robots, the welding is very precise and resulting in first-class quality. Once the production of the container is finished, we transport the containers to Europe, and then we put them in 3 options, or they are put in our rental fleet. We offer a financial package, which means that we offer a lease with a purchase option or a direct sales. When it comes to tailor-made solutions, whether a customer is requiring an extra strong floor or a container for hanging meat, double stack system, ventilated containers, flat walls, you name it, if it can be developed based on a 45-foot pallet-wide high cube container, we are able to build it. Our current rental fleet has 33,000 containers, of which 85% is dry box containers and 50% is reefer containers. This is the containers that we are putting in our rental fleet and the lease with the purchase option. Besides our rental fleet, we are also building 4,000 to 5,000 containers per year. These are then put in direct sales, and also the tailor-made solutions are part of this. 10% of these 4,000 to 5,000 containers will be reefer containers. The turnover last year was about 63 million euros. Then going to the equipment. I will start with a straightforward 40-foot pallet-wide high cube container. The one who is loading 33 euro pallets, the equivalent with a trailer on loading of pallets. But we have also developed a container which can carry 34 euro pallets. This was done on request of one of the customers. The front is a little bit different and the doors are slimline doors, and that's the reason why 34 euro pallets can be loaded. We can also deliver containers with a double stack system, a double door, a distribution unit, for example, with flat walls inside, containers for hanging garments, bulk containers, 10'6" high containers. The innovation over the last years on dry box containers, it is a box, it is as big as possible for the moment as it is allowed on the road. So we need to check other things to be innovative. We are using lightweight domex steel in the containers to have the tar weight as low as possible, but also do not lose strength in the container. It's a very lightweight but very strong steel. Then we have the bamboo floors, also lightweight bamboo floors. It's a full bamboo floor, not plywood with bamboo topping, but full bamboo floor. And it's, for the moment, the most strongest floor on the market, and also an environmental friendly floor. For some years now, we are also building a standard, our containers with special intermediate and high doors, just to allow the full maximum height access for the cargo. And then in the new factory I just mentioned, we also have the option, beside the waterborne paint, which has been used in the last years, also build the containers with a high solid paint, which ensures the highest quality and durability, and also it's more corrosion resistance. We think that the high solid paint will be the future for the containers. Then I go to curtain side containers. These are no-swap bodies. They can be top lifted and they are stackable. Access by side, both sides and doors. And we have an Excel approved option which allows you to put them on high-speed trains up to 120 kilometers per hour. Then I move on to the bulk containers. The only type of containers where we have different sizes than 45 foot is the bulk container. We build them in 20 foot and 30 foot, mainly for granules and sugars. They have loading hatches, a letterbox to unload, but also normal container doors just to avoid empty haulage. The 45 bulk container which we have developed has been developed on demand of a customer where no road transport was involved, and that's the reason why there is a loading capacity up to 40 tons. Then I go to the reefer containers. We have quite a fleet of reefer containers. The first one is the diesel electric reefer container, which is a complete self-supporting unit. So wherever there's no electricity available, you can switch over to the diesel. It has a 250-liter diesel tank, which is more than enough to have, in fact, transport within Europe. It is equipped with the Thermo King cooling unit, the Advancer A400. It has a track and trace system, so you can not only see where the container is, but also see the temperature, the blown in air, the return air. You can see the capacity of the diesel tank, how much diesel is still available, and it has a two-way communication. So you can see from behind your desk what it is, but you can also, let's say that the set point is not correct, you can also change the set point from behind your desk. These containers are also offered optional with the double stack system if required. The same type of container has been developed mainly for vegetables and fruit in an aluminium lightweight version. It allows you to load 1,200 kilos more as a payload. We can deliver this type of container also for multi-temperatures. So it's the same type of container, but then with an extra or two extra evaporators inside. So you can move the fridge wall upwards and down to have in one container frozen and chilled or heated product. Same track and trace option and also available if in double stack. The next diesel electric reefer container we have developed is the one for long range. That is, it was initially developed for rail between China and Europe and vice versa. The Thermo King unit is a stronger cooling unit. It has a 900-liter diesel tank just to make sure that it can run more than 20 days without refueling. It also has a special air duct system inside to make sure that the temperature or the air is blown equally over the goods. The cooling unit itself is also equipped to run in extra cold outside temperatures. So, for example, when the train comes from China to Europe, is certainly in winter period, it goes through countries with minus 45 degrees. So the cooling unit is operational. It will not stop if it goes frozen outside. Then we have the all-electric reefer container, which is in fact the most used container in short sea. We have a lot of short sea customers as well. This container is a straightforward container with the Thermo King Magnum Plus cooling unit. And since some months now, we have also developed a container with the StarCool cooling unit. This new StarCool cooling unit is already prepared to carry the new refrigerant, which becomes mandatory in 2030. Over the years, we found a weight reduction of 340 kilos, just to allow more payload. The Honeywell LBA food grade foam is used, and in this case, the roof is still with waterborne paint. There's also a double stack option available. The Flora container, I guess the word says it itself, has been developed together with Flora Holland. It's a container which is higher and wider than the standard reefer containers in our fleet. And that's just to make sure it can carry 43 roll cages. It has light inside for the flowers and the plants, and it is available in an electric and a diesel electric version. The containers I've shown you represents our core standard equipment. Of course, we continue to develop tailor-made solutions. These continuous innovations expand and modernize our fleet. Before I wrap up and give the floor to somebody else, I would like to show you a short video. It captures the fascinating process of how steel coil, a roll of steel, is transformed into a finished container. I still found it very nice and fascinating. So enjoy, it's a short movie. Thank you for your attention.
So thanks, Maria. So if I understand well, it takes less time to produce now the box than to transport it to Europe, if I understand well. So that's certainly that's interesting, of course, evolution. Again, many thanks, and you prove, of course, that standards are necessary for our market. You are basing on the frame of 45 pallet wide or high cube contain, I think, a lot of, variety. When I see refer, for example, short distance, long distance, so that's quite impressive, I think, what we can achieve. And maybe what is important, because you mentioned it, that you build containers similar to semi-trailer. That's also something very important, I think, in the compatibility. And I just mentioned, I think, as a policy, aspect about the weights and dimension directive, because you said clearly that the boxes must be compatible with the road regulation. That's also an important part to consider. So I invite you also then to follow this weights and dimension directive discussion, which has a lot of, I think, impact for our sector if we don't, I think, define standards also for road. So thanks again, Maria, for your intervention. Let's go to the other side of logistics, or the European logistics, so the swap bodies. So I'm inviting now Daniel Hemker, the managing director of Wagon, which is also one of the longest partner at UIR, and are also here then to describe what they offer as a European manufacturer of swap bodies.
Yeah,
So
thank
Daniel,
you, Eric.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric, to have the chance here for this presentation. I really appreciate that we bring these companies and also the participants together just to see what is going on at the market and what different solutions do we have at the moment. So I would like to share the presentation. Should work right now.
Yeah. Yes, it's working, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
So at the beginning in intermodal logistics, every customer says they want to have a standard solution. And then we start to get the specification and we see, no, we really need a specialized solution. It has to be customized. That's what we always see. And to start with the presentation, our customized solutions for road and rail logistics. I'm Daniel Hemker. managing director of Wecon. Wecon is a family-owned company. My father started with the company in '88, so we all still work at the company. My brother is also working at the company, and also my mother. And as in usual families, she's taking care of the financial department. And so I would like to go on to the next slide. We are located in the northwest of Germany. Very close to Münster and the Ruhr area. And we also have a location in Poland. And in total, we are almost close to 400 employees that we have. And we also see differences in the markets that we have in Germany and the Western European market. There's more a focus on combined traffic. And in Eastern Europe, Poland and the other countries there, that there's more a focus on road transportation, so that we have more box bodies on the chassis and trailers. And for today, we want to focus on the swap bodies. But also to show what we have here is that we are building rigid truck bodies and also special semi-trailers, always with special customized solutions, or as we see, swap platforms with special stanchions for loading security. And that's what we often see, that loading security is really a big issue, to be very flexible and also to be very efficient when you put the load on swap bodies or also on the trucks. And then we also have the parts of the 45-foot swap bodies and rail technologies. So we have been participating in different development programs, for example, for DB Cargo, M Quadrat, or also for Rail Cargo Austria with Transant. So we have many experiences during the last years. Also to see the differences that we have in rail technology, which often is very complicated, and also what we are doing on the road transportation, where things are often very easy. And we also want to bring these easy solutions to the rail. And this is one way to do it with swap bodies or with the swap bodies. We always focus on very high quality, so that the products, they live very long. We do it with mainly galvanized superstructures, hot dip galvanized frames, and we have more a focus on stability to give them a very long lifetime, and that the configurations that we have are very flexible. And this is a kind of search picture. So we have the swap bodies, but we also want to show a special semi-trailer here. This is a one-axle semi-trailer for combined traffic. It's called city semi-trailer. So it's usually more used for logistics at the cities. And how do we bring that together with railway and combined traffic? So this customer, he has decided we want to bring the long distance on the rail, but we still have the distances on the road. And when we are at the cities, we do not use the standard semi-trailers because they're not as flexible when you go on a turn. And so this special semi-trailer, it's a shorter one, and it has a special steering axle. So also when you're at the cities, that you can go to every for example, supermarkets and so on for unloading. And then next to it, you can also see, as an example, a 20-foot swap body with supporting legs. And this was also from customers' wish to put 2 units on a standard chassis. And so we had to shorten the standard swap bodies and to bring it here to this very short length that we have. What you also see here in the middle is for coal transportation, that we often want to get special goods to one trip and to get the whole round trip to be efficient, then we can carry, for example, pallets to the other side. So when we have for coil transportation a special device for the coils, we can also put on a very strong floor that you can move the pallets to the other direction. You can see that here at the picture on the right, so that there is a cover for the coil, what you can put on here. But also, as I've mentioned, for loading security, for paper rolls, for example, that we have special devices at the floor here for the loading security as well, or here, as you can see in the middle, also for the loading security, to put in the goods very easily and secure them. Then 2 examples from M Quadrat, what we have developed together with DB Cargo for coil transportation, 20-foot units here. But in this case, it was only for coil transportation in one direction. So we couldn't realize a round trip. The round trip should be here with the green unit on the left, where you can transport scrap from steel scrap, for example. And this unit was used for BDF systems, but you can also use it for hook-on, which is very common in the scrap industry. And I also want to mention the different participants that we have here. For example, Combipass and CFL. Nice greetings from here, that we could realize some projects with them as well. And my main topic for today would be our StackMax, where we've seen that the capacities at the terminals are very strict, and to be more efficient at the terminals, we have built this StackMax where we have a 45-foot swap body that you can stack 3 times loading. It is with a special roof, sliding roof, which is very common for the standard semi-trailers, so that you can still load on from the top to the swap body. That you have, for example, when you do loading with a crane, you can still use this swap body here. We see that as a solution compared to the semi-trailers, as the semi-trailers are not stackable at the terminals, or it is very complicated to stack semi-trailers at the terminals. And as the land is very expensive in Europe, we have to see and find solutions to be more efficient here as well. And as we also see that for the next years, the driver shortage that we have, that we will have more traffic on the rail. We need to put more goods on the rail, and so we have to find different solutions to realize that. And also, as we are working in the trailer industries, we are seeing many regulations. For example, the vector tools, the vector tool where we have for the carbon footprint of the use, the regulations are going to be very strict, and so we manufacturers have to work on different solutions to still manufacture trailers after 2030. And so there was a question from the chat. I just want to see that 3 high stackable with 29.3 payload. That's correct. We can stack it with 3 times high with this payload. And we also realize a very high internal height of 2.52 as an external height of 2.9 meters, which is a C45 codification. And when we have only unloaded units, you can stack them 4 times high. Okay, so at this point, I'm already done with my presentation. What we also want to point out, we see many problems at the railway industry at the moment, and we do not really want to blame them for them, but we often have to find solutions for them. And we want to offer our solutions, and we also want to find ways to work together to design these solutions. Thank you for your attention.
So thanks, Daniel. I think to clearly demonstrate that the swap bodies have a future, because I have a lot of questions to say about combined transport is only containers. I was always said, no, pay attention. We have a lot of swap bodies, I think, transported by our member companies. That's roughly 15 to 20% of our transport are based on swap bodies. And so that's why important, I think, that we continue to work on that. So many thanks, I think. And certainly, I think your last product about this takeable swap bodies is certainly a very good innovation, because that will indeed, as you mentioned, I think for the terminals, it will help, I think, a lot to save some space. So that's definitely something that we need, I think, to continue. You mentioned two things, so standardization. So that's just that you or the other community should be informed that we are revising these EN standards on swap bodies. So definitely, I think we should be in contact, Daniel, I think, to be sure, I think, that we are not going to make any mistakes in those standards. And then comes the Vector, the Vector tool, I think you put here, and I see Nicolas Chambon is relaying your message. That's certainly a point to raise, because it's putting in danger, I think, the not only now the swap bodies, but the entire also road manufacturers. I had contact with our colleagues of the semi-trailer. So the Vector tool, I think, is certainly something that we have to follow in the next months in order to not to harm, I think, our business, I think, with additional requirements that provoke a lot of costs. Yeah. Okay. Thanks again, Daniel, I think, for your intervention. Let's go back a bit, I think, on the wagons, and one particular point about how can we better transport semi-trailers on pocket wagons. We had some issues, I think, in the past, and I'm invited now Marc Valette, the innovation director at CFL Multimodal, to let us know a bit their experience about the system that they have developed some years ago, and if they are satisfied, I think, with a solution that can be then somehow seen as a solution then for the entire sector. Yeah. So Marc, and again, many thanks for your flexibility. I know you had some meetings before this webinar, so many thanks for joining here today, yeah, Marc. Yeah.
No problem, with pleasure, Eric, and thanks, really thanks to offer us this opportunity to share on our return of experience on what we have done concerning the securing of semi-trailer. So perhaps to make an introduction, I'm Marc Valette, I'm the innovation director of CFL Multimodal Group, the freight entity of the National Railway in Luxembourg. What I plan today is to show you and to give you a sort of return of experience on what we have developed, a system which is called CFL Loki, to put in our operation, and to show you a little bit how finally IoT and technology could support our safety and customer service. I just put in a big screen. So perhaps for a quick introduction, I propose to make a small presentation about CFL Freight and to explain you what is CFL Loki context and the return of experience on our 4 years on CFL Loki implementation. With also the vision of on the future challenges that we may have with IoT and technology in general. Because all of you know that IoT and data are now part of our daily life. But in some cases, we speak with innovation most of the time looking forward, but I propose you to go a little bit backward just to explain you and to see what has happened and do we achieve what was originally expected, because in some cases we miss this stage. So for that, you will see in the presentation some clear facts about what we have done and I would say why. Perhaps for those who don't know, a small presentation about the Freight CFL and our vision. So I would say most of you know where is Luxembourg. This is a very small spot on the map. But something which is very important, it is that in Luxembourg, due to the size of our country, we have very limited quantity of large industries and volumes, which is important for us. That means that we need to think differently on the market, because if we want to make some trains, which is a massive volumes, we need to attract volumes, and we need to find solutions to have this volume coming on our trains. So something which is important, we need to have a good connection scheme. We need to have, I would say, a proposal which is based on differentiator and some added value services. Otherwise, the flow could not be attracted via Luxembourg to be cheap, I would say, from the connection. Something which is very important, it is that, as you may imagine, most of our flows are done outside of our countries. Something which is important, we are cooperating with a lot of partners. We are working in different countries. And more the clients want now to have information and to have an integrated overview, which for us was really a trouble to be sure that we have the right information in time where our rail cars are very far away. And in fact, that is introduction on the reason why we work really on the beginning on IoT, and to see that as a key advantage to do the tracking. When you look at CFL multimodal in general, so without entering into the detail, the group is built around three main corners. One strong
Mark,
yeah?
Can I just interrupt? Can you put this in the large screen, so in the full screen, because it's quite small to see for the audience.
No,
I don't know.
No problem.
Mm-hmm. Would be great, I think. Then, yeah,
is
great.
It better?
Thanks, Mark.
Good.
It's much better. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. So it is built around these three corners. So one rail corner, which is a strong and independent rail solution based on the railway undertaking, which is a CFL cargo, on a specific intermodal network, which is with a center in Bettembourg and managed by CFL Intermodal. That is very important, because due to that, we are able to propose some interesting connection to the main I would say industrial points, so it could be ports, it could be industrial area, and to be sure that we are targeting points on which there is some volumes. The second point, which is important, it is a terminal. It is a quite new brand terminal built in 2017, on which we have put a lot of technology, and which is designed to serve both normal vertical loading systems with four lanes, but also a very specific railway motorway system called Monalor, which is operating, I would say, more than 4 times a day to cross France. On the third point, it is a logistics, because more and more we see that the market is no more requesting only transport, but full integrated solution on which we are integrating logistics, warehousing, but also multimodal transport. Something which is important, as it has been mentioned, more and more the trailer transport become the new backbone of our network. In the past, that it was mentioned, we used to transport some containers, but now more and more we are transporting semi-trailer. And also that means that due to this type of client, we have been obliged to change our way of thinking. Because when you work with semi-trailer, you work with clients that are into this semi-trailer, that have the habit to have something which is coming from the truck industry, meaning present where we need, when you need, it arrives most of the time in time, it's very flexible, and it's very simple to track. And you can believe me, on the beginning, it was not exactly like rail freight. But pushing by them, we have been obliged to change a little bit our way of doing. And now, more and more, what they want, it is tracking. So that was the reason why also in 2018, we started our IoT journey, if I can say that like this, by doing the tracking. But in 2019, I would say we had a bad experience that happened. That was a Great Bell Bridge accident. This accident, in which a trailer flight away from a rail car and crash into a passenger train has brought a lot of subsequent regulation, condition, constraint due to the fact that there is a big request for additional safety. And when you look at the right pictures, in fact, we did internally some audits, some more and more control on the loadings, and we found that it was not a unique case that a bad loading could happen. So that was for us a situation on which we said, okay, can we find on the market a solution on which can support the control? It was not feasible at the period of time. So in 2019, no solution for kingpin monitoring was existing on the market. That was the reason why we said, okay, for us that were acting all over Europe, it is important to see if we can find something. So we went to our maintenance shop, CFL Techniques. We had a vision of what is each, how it was working. We discussed with our colleague to find some ideas. We discussed with the people on the ground, so the train inspector, railway undertaking operations, to see what they would imagine, what are their needs, what they would expect. We built the first prototype. We did some first tests on our trains to have a first return of experience to see exactly what we need. And at the end, we industrialize the product and deploy it. Now, in 2026, we have more than 1,000 CFL Loki in operation. Something which is important, you see, by doing that, we have seen that really, if you think about putting technology on our paints, could be very interesting. Because if you look at the return of experience, so our initial objective was to secure and to give a better transparency on the loading, on securing situation, to prevent derailment and bad lifting, because that was a big issue that we faced in the past with some rail cars that was lifted by the tummy trailer because the hitch was not disengaged. To avoid any manual action to receive information, because if you ask someone to push on a button, to be honest, at the end, you need to control that the people has pushed on the button. To manage the energy autonomously, because it was a trouble on our rail freight, we have no energy. To exchange information with terminals. That was for us also very important, because if we know at distance that we have a trouble, it's important that perhaps at distance the person could intervene and solve the issue. To optimize and secure the technical inspection and the visit, because the objective was not to make technology for ourselves, it was more to be sure that our people could use it. And perhaps at the end, it was to find a way for simple installation and maintenance, because you know in the rail, for us, what is costing a lot is not to install something, it is to bring a rail car in a maintenance shop to get rid of the operation and to lose a lot of time. And also at the end, the possibility for the partners to use the system. And some colleagues of Modalis and Tetravagonka are also working with us to develop on how to improve. What is the current situation? Because it's very nice to say, okay, that was the original objective, but what is the situation that we have with the solution? Most of our rail cars are now equipped with Loki. The solution is integrated into the operational process by terminals and rail inspector. That is very important because our train inspector are using the system and have put the system as a support in their own procedure. In fact, and it's most important, we can anticipate the bad loading and we can solve it. So it makes it very in a preventive orientation. That's very important. And among us, people now use the system. And I think it's very important. Something that we have faced in Luxembourg, I've discussed that with our colleague of the terminal. From installation of the system, we have completely decreased the number of lifting of rail car due to the fact that the hitch was not correctly disengaged. Something which is important, installation can be done easily in the terminal, in operation is less than 1 hour. All our systems have been installed directly on the terminal within the operation. And now what's very important also, we have a remote access and we have an alerting system which enables us also to identify when there is something which is not working properly. For me and for us, what was the most important thing, it is the citation comments of the train inspector. They said that kingpin monitoring solution is helpful as a system informs us about something to control. it comforts us in our control by reducing the risk of missing something. Perhaps there, it's something which is very important that we have learned. On the beginning, to be honest, behind our mind, I would say, we would imagine that in the future, the system could replace the human control. Now, what we have learned there, it is that we have completely changed our mind. The system is helping the train inspector because doing a train visit is something which is complicated because you need to find something which is wrong in a mass of things that are not good. And here you see with the light, it's very interesting because when the train inspector is arriving, directly the information comes to him. If it is blue, okay, he do his control, he'll see blue, and for him it is okay. It is a second vision. But when he is arriving in front of a rail car on which there is a trailer loaded on a light which is red, you can believe me, they stop and because they know that there is something to control. And that is very interesting because we are not replacing, we are giving to the train inspector really an additional safety for him to make more safety on the train. And at the end, what we have seen, as they have more confidence, in fact, they go quicker and we have more efficiency. And in addition, to be honest, as from the beginning, we had additional return of experience. So by developing ourselves our own IoT now, we have a system which is among the best on the market concerning traceability. We have 1 point every minute on all our intermodal trains. So I would say for our people in the management of operation, it's very easy because they can rely also on the system because we have been able to reduce the number of, I would say, telematics that were not available, but also due to the fact that we have two systems on one rail car, in terms of global reliability, we are close to 100%, meaning that also we can have a good condition-based maintenance policy. So that's very good for intermodal rail cars that are circulating a lot. Something also that we have seen, thanks to the system, now as we have direct information on all the status of loading and unloading, we are able to see exactly what is happening on the terminals at distance. It's very interesting, for example, with the terminals we are not connected with directly by API because for customer service or improvement, we can say, okay, now your trailer is already unloaded, so it is available. You can come, you will not have any waiting hours. Something which is important because all of us, we have seen what has happened after this accident. It is a GNS and the fact that there is a new TSI with new obligation. And the system is in line with this new obligation because it was part of the development of this new TSI. But also something which is interesting, we have also seen that we can develop additional business because the system is used by additional partners and we have developed new branches that we, on the beginning, were not expected. So more value than we have imagined, an opportunity to streamline costs and a solution really to improve client service and a way to develop new business. And now, what we have learned, and something which is very interesting, we have learned that we can do IoT by ourselves. Because, as you see in operation, we have the tracking, we have the kingpin monitoring, but above all, we have this, I would say, brick ecosystem on which we have an IT platform and data. We have one brick for tracking, communication, acquisition, digital and analogic. We have one visibility block, one energy supply block, and we have just, when we want to make something new, to find the right monitoring sensor. So it is really easy to develop, very quick and very agile. And to show you what we are doing at the moment, so we are working on the digital brake test because it's something which is which is consuming a lot of time on our train departure. So we are currently testing it, and it was presented in München some months ago. And we are working at the moment because all of us know that after the Gotthard accident, that there is some new constraint and regulation about the broken wheel, I would say. And we are developing some new solution to support our operation. Keep in mind that all the time, we try to be our first original client. And as a conclusion on the return of experience, I would say IoT and data in rail is effective and deliver value. That for sure, it is what we have experienced, and to be honest, I think we will not change. But it has to be integrated in the operation. It has to be an answer to a need, because too often we are purchasing market solutions that are not exactly coping with our own needs, especially for us, which are a small railway undertaking. And it has to be reliable, because that was really on the beginning of our IoT journey when we started in 2018. It was not, the market solutions were not enough reliable. And to be honest, that's very important. Otherwise, people lose confidence into. And at the end, for us, what is more important, it has to be orientated to bring more freight on the rail by more efficient service. That's very important, not to do technology just for the fun, but more to do technology to be more competitive and to be sure that more transport can come on the rail. And with a vision that we have, it is an opportunity to expand more and more and to bring more adapted technology on rail, to stay simple and as much as possible not intrusive, because for us it's quite easy. It solves the issues of homologation and authorization. To keep an approach of simple installation, very important, otherwise it costs too much. And what we want, it is really to be independent of external control by external platforms, SaaS models, and so on, and to manage integration of data within our ecosystem. And the challenge is really to focus on our needs, because in some cases, when we are purchasing, we are losing what we want to achieve. To keep the control, to manage the cost, clearly to value the data, because we see that there is a lot of things to do with the data, but we need to take them into account, and to integrate the new regulation and safety constraint, because a new regulation can cost us a lot of potential inefficiency. And to see that in the future, because we are all of us speaking about a new challenge, which is a DAC, which is a digital, I would say, automated coupling. But really, we want to stay focused and to integrate more and more technology to support our business. Clearly, we want all the time to evaluate alternative to existing market solution to integrate more and more our small railway undertaking specific needs, because most of the time they are forgotten by the solution provider. By keeping this dual approach between market and internal development, it's good because we can also be creative and challenging. And clearly we want to continue, and that is a big advantage, to use our operation, which is really our key asset. We are very agile. If we want, we can imagine on the morning to have a new sensor, and in the afternoon it is put on one of our train. And by doing that, it's really good to continue to progress. So it was, you see, I'm trying to speed up this return of experience, so I hope it was interesting. And if you have any question, I really do not hesitate. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark, for your intervention. If I may say, you have the congratulation of one of the partners, so that you have implemented this Locky system and that they are very pleased, I think, with the system that you have created. So that's also good to hear that when you have even if you are the self-client, but you're also sharing your experience with others, that helps a lot, I think, during this GNS procedure in which I was also involved. So that was one of the ways, I think, to make it clear that the solution exists, or the sector can also organize itself to propose a solution to the National Safety Authority. There was a lot of debates about how can we better secure the semi-trailers into the hitch. So I think here we have again, and that's good to hear that you have a very positive experience, I think, that you can now say and also then share with the community. So again, many thanks, Mark, I think, and also for your work, I think, because it took certainly a lot of time to be able, I think, to create indeed a technology that needs only 1 hour of installation in a terminal. So I think that's certainly how innovation can really, I think, trigger something. It's not the case for every technologies, because sometimes it takes then days or months to install it. But 1 hour is certainly a time frame within the time frame that we can accept. Yeah. Okay, Mark, again, many thanks for your time. Yeah. Okay, let's switch. We are a bit late, and sorry for that. I will ask now our last speaker. So it's Valentin Dominguez. He's Director and Head of Innovation at Combipass in Spain. So Valentin, you can now take the floor.
Thank you very much, Eric. Well,
You are sharing.
we
Yeah,
are
it's okay.
It's okay.
You are okay. It's good. It's full screen, and don't rush. You have your time to make your presentation.
Yeah, but I'm already seeing people is going for lunch, so I will try to make it quick. My name is Valentin Dominguez. Sorry, go.
Go ahead. No, I love them. They cannot leave the room. Okay, but that's just a joke. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, as Eric said, I'm responsible for innovation within Combipass, and I'm also an active member of the UIC working group for combined transport, and also part of the standardization committees in Spain. So, yeah, we are in contact for the new standard version. Before entering into the discussion, well, I didn't make too much self-promo here. I will just try to explain how we work innovation in Combipass, and I will give you a few examples about how we do that. Before that, I would like to put you a little bit in context. Combipass is part of the group, Berto. It's a European transport and logistic group headquartered in France, but active obviously internationally with, you see, it's more than 600 million on turnover, 500 people and 6,000 units and equipment. Combipass is a really small branch of the group, and we are, for the last almost 40 years, 37 at the moment, dedicated to the developing and operation intermodal transport. That our structure is divided in the drivable division, which is everything related to tipping chassis and pressurized cargo and bulk units. Some of those has been already discussed here with Maria. The dry cargo also, by Daniel, has been discussed, the swap body business, P400 eventually, and then we have the research and development, which is where I will talk a little bit more today, which is a special projects that they are not in any of the previous fields, and it required custom engineering equipment that also can come part of the rental offers. In innovation, and that has been on the table today. It's very important, I think, to talk about the role of the standard, as the standard sometimes is considered a limitation. It's not a limitation at all. We consider the standard the foundation for allowing intermodal transport and to allow the intermodal transport to function at a scale. And the standards are not static, as Eric already mentioned, so they are in development. And within the standards, we can also find innovation by reducing tear weights, increasing volume, increasing stacking capacity, as today we have seen on swap body. So this is part of the standard units and also Unit 45. They are basically on standard units, but you cannot say they are just a single unit. They have multiple variables. The problem that we see is when the standard solution was the problem, even an improved one no longer fits the reality, the operational reality. And we might lose performance or do have several factors, cargo, unloading, bridge. So that's when we're at a session that we said it has a sense, not by itself, but a consequence of. Before going into I would just go very briefly. This is our standard fleet. That I said it's basically on the dry bulk sector, pressurized equipment, and P400 swap bodies and dry cargo. I will not stay more here as we are really short on time. So we'll just go into the innovation that we said that it should not begin with technology, because today technically almost everything is possible. Well, let's say that a few years ago, reusing rockets was considered unrealistic, and today we have several companies. So the question is not if technically we can do that. It's the look at, and it has been also discussed today. So this is the bad part of being the last one, that the few of those topics that are common to everyone has been already discussed. To find the bottleneck or the constraint that requires you to go to a specific unit. Sometimes it's the safety, sometimes it's unloading, sometimes it's the ergonomics. I think Nicolas has already mentioned, and sometimes it's the reliability of the own equipment. But the objective remains the same. Identify the limit and inside the flow of the unit, and then ask, when engineering essential question, I would say. Does the new solution create the operational value to justify the additional complexity and cost? So basically, this is a little bit the road that we try to follow when thinking about special units. The first step is always identify the bottleneck, the measurable limitation. The second is to validate if there is no standard solution, that it works well here. Because as we considered, standard solution is the best option and the first option, no matter what. And then when adaptation becomes necessary, we have to just to limit it, to remain it targeted. It's not to create a sophisticated model. That has also been discussed here. The best design part is no part. And the objective final is to remove an identified limitation. And if the expected operational gain is not clear, measurable or repeatable, then adaptation probably should not have a sense. And of course, well, adaptation, as everything that comes special, has some trade-offs. So everything is not, otherwise we will just do special units all the time. We have units that they're really going to fit on the specific use, but we are going to lose flexibility across all the things. We are going to increase performance, but probably we are going to reduce interoperability. We are going to reduce complexity, which in special units means that probably on the long term, we will have less experience and we will have higher investments and probably a lower utilization. I will go very quickly also on the special projects. In Comipass, we have 3 ways of developing things. One, what is the in-house project, so things that we consider they have a sense and we develop a product. It has to be said that we are not manufacturers, so this is only coming from an engineering office. And then we have different partners that they produce the units for ourselves. So I said that the first one is in-house ideas that we consider they can have a sense in the market. So this, all what you see here, it's 100% Comipass trial and error products. We have a combi swap, it's a swap body, the tanks, which is different than the alu on the steel versions. We have a combi box, which is called a multi-function unit, which has a hardtop, which has manholes, double door or trap door. And then we have an automatic tipping system, which is one of the developments that we are probably more proud. It's a system that allows you to connect a specific container with a specific chassis with a blocking system, and the truck driver remains on the cabin, and via hydraulic circuit, it releases a blocking system that you can see in the middle of the picture and allows the container to unload without descending. We have a second. We have the second way of developing, and it's customer demands. So we have customers that reach to us for finding a solution for a specific problem, for a specific traffic. And here I'm just talking about double units. So this container was developed to have a double capacity or a single capacity, lower parties for heavy duty usage, lower and upper parties for lightweight products, for example. Then we have different UTIs that comes fixed on the wagon, and I will just discuss it a little bit later. To close, so that I said that it was going to be fast today. You ask us, Eric, how we see how we see the future of those, and just to leave one final perspective, and where we believe the transport may evolve and has a possibility in the coming years. In our view, one of the most important developments might come from a deeper integration, and Caspar already discussed here, between wagon and ILU engineering. The wagons already offer technical capacity that a standard EVU sometimes cannot fully exploit, but mostly due to the fitting point or mass distribution or loading assumption. And I think can be a field to explore together between engineering on the yields and on the wagons. The real performance, in my opinion, the interaction of both systems, and I think, well, that has been in discussion, can be an open door for new categories or special intermodal equipment, like units that they can be handled empty and then they have to be fit on a wagon, or specific systems that allow us to have more than 36 or 40 tons per UT. I don't know. Just there are a few fields that can be explored together. Some cases the units might remain standard by the intermodal ecosystem in general, and the others, well, they can be a different solution case by case. And finally, I will just show you a short video about how different projects that we have developed in the last years. This is the automatic chassis together with a specific container. This is the testing of subbody. Lorry, that's operable from the floor sliding booth. $28-ton anti-roll system compatible with a container. Double units. Specific platform for the tunnel segments. And with that, I just finished short presentation of how we do that, how we see the future of innovation in ELUS, and how we are approaching today all different projects.
So thanks, Valentin, for your intervention. I'm amazed, I think, how we can adapt, I think, the products, I think, to the goods that we have transported. But the challenge is, of course, that we can then put this also then on rail. It can be pure rail, because some of the combination that you have shown is only on rail. Of course, we can then transport much more heavy cargo, and then you can adapt indeed those loading units into this pure railway market. We in intermodal, definitely the challenge, and you have mentioned about standardization. Certification certainly is something that we have also to take care. So the certification of wagons, what is maybe interesting as an evolution, you put that wagon and ELU should be engineered together. That's something that we have to explain to our certification authorities, that is not just authorizing a wagon, but is also authorizing a wagon with something on the top, and that's very often forgotten. And certainly this is something that's something that we have to explain here. Maybe to conclude on certification wagons, So that's just a message from here from UIR that we are going to organize with ERA, so a workshop on the 3rd of September. We are going to discuss all the necessary requirements for the different elements. So meaning, for example, for the wagons, and we need, and certainly then the return of experience of all of you regarding the implementation of the so-called TSIs for the intermodal community. Okay, and sorry we are a bit late, so I can only thank here all the speakers, I think, for their intervention. So you have seen that we adapt clearly, I think, the ILUs to the different types of goods that are for the moment produced and to be transported in Europe and beyond. You have seen sometimes the problematic of our wagons, I think, to be able, I think, to accommodate those loading units into the system, but it's possible. So the system works. It is possible to combine all these types of loading units. And again, thanks for all here the experts that are working on designing and developing those solutions in order to provoke, as already said by different here people, to provoke the modal shift, because this is what we have to show, that the system works in terms of technicalities, but also in terms of operation. It means that it is working, and for all types of loading units, we are speaking about here containers, web bodies, semi-trailer that are craneable or not. So that's certainly something that we can continue to demonstrate. Just for organization purpose, so the slides and the presentation of all speakers will be available soon. You will receive then an email, I think, then with the link to those presentations. And as usual, we also are going to put them on our social media, I think, so a summary of this webinar. So again, many thanks for your participation and to have here, during lunch, I think, to extend a bit your time to this webinar. Enjoy your afternoon, enjoy your lunch, and see you next time, I think, for the next UR webinar. Thanks a lot and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, bye-bye, Valentin. Thanks, yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Mark.
See you later.
Thanks, Daniel. Bye, Maria.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.